You know, Mikael Judas, tonight is finally here where you can't hide behind your tag team partners any longer, and you have to stare into the eyes of the butcher of Pyongyang, Kimo. And before you come out here, I'm going to give you a little demonstration of what's in store for you and give you a simply put 3 reasons why you stand no chance against Kimo tonight.
What we're witnessing here is Kimo being hit with that kendo stick by his agent attorney
and his
Bailey.
opponent.
Whoa. And we are underway here. Mikael Judas barely out of the entrance ramp. And Kimo waiting for him, choking him out with his robe. Greg Hunter down there in the middle of all this, trying to find his way back up here to our announced position. This is one half of a big week here. Big feature matches. Kimo and Mikael Judas. Now, this has been going on for quite some time, Greg Hunter.
Well, this is one of our 2 big featured contests this week on Anarchy. And you want to limit the ability of a martial artist, I would say punching a steel ring post is a good way to start.
Well, what about this display that we saw just before this match with Jeff G. Bailey hitting Kimo over the back with that kendo stick to prove a point?
I was standing just a couple of feet away, and I can tell you firsthand, I saw whelps form on the back. You can see the red streak from here at our announced position, some 40 feet away. You can see the red streak across the back of Kimo from Jeff G. Bailey to prove a point to the priest of punishment, Mikael Judas. It was some 3 weeks ago on this broadcast, just a few weeks ago, where we saw tag team action, Kimo and Shatter, the NWA Elite, taking on Mikael Judas and Truett Fields in that contest. Mikael Judas and Kimo fought out of the building, and that was just the latest such incident. That has happened repeatedly. These 2 men have yet to see any type of a definitive conclusion in any encounter.
And Greg Hunter, now the match has officially started, as just while you were talking, our timekeeper rung the bell. So all those preliminaries outside the ring, of course, were outside the confines of the match. Now we're actually into the match. So any kind of actions like that could cause a disqualification, of course, up to the discretion of referee Ken Wallace.
And if I were in Ken Wallace's shoes, I think I would show a whole lot of discretion right now. Mikael Judas, only a 2 count as Kimo gets a foot in the ropes. Mikael Judas, former holder of the Anarchy Heavyweight Championship. He has held gold across the globe. He is taking on the Korean assassin, the Butcher of Pyongyang, a man exiled out of North Korea, a man found by agent attorney Jeff G. Bailey, not a trained competitor. We've said that time and again, but it's one of the things that bears repeating. This man is a trained soldier, a trained fighter, a trained killer, and we have seen that time and time again. We're talking about a man who he has a few losses on his record, be it tag team action, be it in special matches with specific rules, but Kimo, be it by pinfall or submission, the man has never been put on his back for 3 seconds. The man has never said, "I quit."
And you know, you got to think about that too. He's been here in NWA Anarchy for just about a year and a half. That's an impressive record to go, 18 months without being pinned and submitted. And also, counting that he's a rookie that did that.
Oh, most definitely.
Jeff G. Bailey knows talent when he sees it.
Well, there's a lot of things that can be said about Jeff G. Bailey, a lot of things that can be questioned, but you cannot question the man's eye for prime athletes, individuals who can excel in any chosen athletic and physical endeavor. And he finds the most brutal and brings them into the sport of professional wrestling. Look no further for the record than Mikael Judas, because he was once under the wings of the NWA Elite. He was Anarchy champion, managed at that time by Jeff G. Bailey.
Greg Hunter, when you look back to the history of the world, the history of you know, just about anything, there's always been great leaders. You know, you look at General Patton, a great leader. General MacArthur, a great leader. Vince Lombardi, a great leader. Bill Clinton, a great leader. Jeff G. Bailey is right up there with those men.
Jeff G. Bailey is right up there with generals and presidents and other great sports figures. That's what you're telling me?
That's exactly what I'm telling you.
Well, I will say this. I'll take nothing away from him. The level of greatness might be disputed, but the bottom line is the man has managed more heavyweight champions than anyone in the history of the NWA arena. People who have been under his charge. Many of them have gone on to hold, be it in tag team or in singles competition, world championships. And right now, Kimo, the Butcher of Pyongyang, he has held championship gold himself as a former Anarchy Tag Team Champion. Right now, looking, oh good Lord, looking to deliver those martial arts thrusts to the legs, to the quadriceps. This very devastating here. Those thrusts, bad enough when they're delivered to the abdominal region and trying to take away your ability to breathe. He's trying to take away Mikael Judas' ability to stand. And you know about the proverb of the one-legged man in a butt-kicking contest.
Well, you know, it's not only that, you got to think. Just about all of Mikael Judas' offense comes from a standing position, and having to have that strength in the legs to hold up Kimo is just not going to be there.
And the legs play a very crucial part in both the choke slam and El Crucifejo, that crucifix powerbomb. So Kimo, no doubt well-schooled, well-trained by agent attorney Jeff G. Bailey. Mikael Judas literally hung out to dry here on the second rope. Kimo pressing his knee across the back. Referee Ken Wallace administering the count. You see how fast Jeff G. Bailey gets around to remind Kimo, 5. You have to let him go by 5. Kimo, not a trained professional wrestler, a trained fighter, but he has learned very, very quickly, not only from his stablemate, the national heavyweight champion, the Universal Soldier Shatter, but of course from the evil mastermind himself, Jeff G. Bailey.
And you know, and like I said, you know, or like you said, you know, about him being not a trained professional, sometimes you have to remind him, because you get there and you get into the intensity of the battle like Kimo does. He needs that constant reminder that he has to break by 5, that there are certain rules that he has to go into. But he's adapted very well here. And I mean, defeating a former Anarchy heavyweight champion, I mean, Kimo's already got an impressive resume, but this knocks him all the way to the top of the contender chart.
No, it certainly would put him a little further up the rankings, that Anarchy top 10 list, if he were to knock off the Priest of Punishment, Mikael Judas. Right now, clamping down on the trapezius of Mikael Judas, just clutching that bundle of nerves across the shoulder to the neck. But the crowd here at the NWA Arena rallying behind Mikael Judas. Judas to his feet. Just a couple of punches before the Butcher of Pyongyang lowers the boom.
And let me point out something right there. From a seated position, Mikael Judas was able to reach up and grab the neck of a standing Kimo. What an impressive reach on Mikael Judas.
And now, Kimo on the second rope. We are not accustomed to seeing this big man. Oh, wait, just a second. Choke slam from the second rope. If Mikael Judas can crawl himself some 6 feet across this ring, and it's getting to be a further distance by the second, thanks to Kimo's maneuvering. But if Mikael Judas can cross that distance and make a cover, this could be over.
Well, but look where Kimo positioned himself. He'd be right there in the ropes. Almost a pinfall is almost null and void at this point.
Listening to the voice of Jeff G. Bailey, leading him across the ring. Mikael Judas, though, seemingly content here to deliver more damage. Clotheslines, a trifecta. And now, holds the man up. Nice belly-to-back suplex.
And hitting Kimo from all directions, trying to disorient the man. And seems like he's been successful in that attempt.
Right now, he has the Butcher of Pyongyang rocking and reeling. Looks like he may be setting up for El Crucifijo. And now, Jeff G. Bailey entering the ring. This is a very dangerous endeavor here. Jeff G. Bailey, he just El Crucifijo'd Kimo over. Jeff G. Bailey, and Bailey just caught the miss. Wait a minute. There's the National Heavyweight Champion. What is Shatter doing out here?
Well, you know, he's coming to check on Jeff.
Doesn't look like he's checking on into me. Spear from the National Heavyweight Champion.
Judas was in his way. He just had to get Judas out of the way to go there and check on Jeff. Jeff could be blinded.
Oh,
Get that man some water.
Good grief. Kimo with an arm across. Good Lord.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this match, Kimo.